Hey everyone, and welcome back to Jersey Yogalicious. My name is Kat, and I am your Nesta Sport Yoga instructor. And I'm here today to start our fall series on awakening your heart. And I promised you we would do a nice fall series on awakening your heart, and then we will do a little mini boot camp workout for you as we get closer to the holidays, just in time to work off all of those calories from those yummy goodies I myself am looking forward to baking, but we're going to bake healthy. We'll remove the calories. So I'm glad to see everybody, and our weather outside is frightful. I have some tropical waves coming through right now. So I am inside of my office talking to you, and you're probably wondering, what is this behind me? This is the family. I got the family up on the wall. So anyhow, I also practice in here when I'm not working, but try to take it outside because, as most of you know, I run a couple of businesses and I work from home online. So it's always good to get out of your office and get outside if you work at home. Wanted to take a moment to dedicate my practice today to Alana. Alana is a little girl in an orphanage in the eastern part of Ukraine. And Alana and Mariana are two girls that I take care of as far as pen pals, and they're my little semi-adoptee friends from far away. They live in the orphanage. They are sisters, and they are somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 years old, yet to be determined. And Alana's in the hospital this week, and we're trying to find out why. Not sure exactly what put her in the hospital. I can tell you these girls, these orphans, they spent their summer in a sanatorium because they did not have any relatives or any camp to go to. There weren't enough funds raised to send them to camp, and so the children that don't have any extended family during the 9 weeks or what have you, they go to the sanatorium. And that is where she was, and now she's in the hospital. She's only been back at the orphanage a little bit over a week, and found out she was in the hospital after I had sent my letters off to her. So we're dedicating our practice to her and saying a prayer for her. And my dear friend Rhonda, who is in charge of the program in Alberta, Canada with the St. John's Project, she's going to keep me posted, so I will let you know how Alana makes out. There are a lot of children there that could use our thoughts and our prayers. They could use gifts. If anyone would like to donate any Christmas gifts for them, it would have to be something small. I can give you Rhonda's address in Canada, and you can send it off to her. We'll figure out that process. But if you'd like to donate anything to the children, there are 50 children at this time in the orphanage. We'd like to make sure each child gets something. I personally have the two girls that I take care of, and also going to send a little something for everybody. We do what we can. So we're going to talk about awakening your heart. Awaken your heart. There's a good book that's Awakening the Buddhist Heart. Now, what we're going to study this fall is yoga philosophy. And a lot of the yogic beliefs are from different areas, but a lot of it stems from Buddhism. Now, I am not a Buddhist, as I said before, but I do want to be open to all religions. So part of that is studying the philosophy and what Buddha's beliefs were behind yoga and those type of things. So we're going to start with part one of Awakening Your Heart. And I'm just going to kind of recap it. So what have I learned so far from seeking? From seeking as a yogi, seeking my path, I've learned that life is about relationship. It's relationship with ourselves, with each other, and the general connection that yoga brings to us. When our relationships are good, we feel good. When they're bad, we feel awful. And that's because we need to feel connected and we need to feel loved. And that's an energy. We talk a lot about the Kundalini energy. That too, love is an energy that you encompass. When we study the ancient scriptures of India, we learn that we're part of the universal web of light. A mirror-like jewel reflecting and containing the light of the whole. All in one, one in all. We are never disconnected from the whole. Yet as humans, at some point, most of us have a disconnect because we lose track of where we belong and what's going on, and that leads us to loneliness, alienation, and confusion. At some point, all of us have confusion in our life, whether it's confusion in a decision, confusion in who we are internally and who we present ourselves as externally. When we're trying to live a spiritual path, we're trying to find our way back to being whole and the journey that we're on. We're trying to find out, where do I fit in? What do I do? I want you to join me in an exploration into the awakening of your heart. And I want you to remember that you're part of something larger. You're part of the whole. Buddha, who was perfectly enlightened, said he remembered over 500 lifetimes, if you can imagine that. I personally believe if that was true, it's no wonder that he didn't find time for pettiness and for the drama. He wants to relate in a different spiritual aspect. And if we do that, we will be successful. We need to find our sense of perspective. We need to be clear about what's going on in our life and the path that we're on. Is it destructive? How can I change it if it is? Is my path good? Are my intentions good? Am I who I say I am? There's always room for improvement. The Buddhist learns they're always feeling something. They're either happy, they're sad. And most of all, what I've gathered so far is the Buddhists realize that that's going to change over time, and they accept that. They're very accepting, and I think that goes a long way. Some religions aren't accepting. It's just black and white, and you don't stray from that, and if you do, you're wrong, you know. So the Buddhists, they have kind of like a different way of looking at things. They examine their lives, and they look for clarity and wisdom. And I think regardless to what religion, or even if you're an atheist, I think we all look for clarity. We all want to understand. There's different things that you can look at. One thing I thought was really enlightening, something George Eliot said. He said, "It's never too late to be what you might have been." And I talked about that last year. It's funny that I just read this year, because it's never too late to change. It's never too late to look and examine where you're at and where you're going, and ask for forgiveness if it needs to be asked for, and mend those fences, and maybe renew whatever it was that you're missing or maybe you lost. So that's what I have learned so far from the beginning of it. It is taught when the Buddha achieved perfect enlightenment, the veil of illusion was lifted from in front of his eyes. He was able to see the truth. He was able to perceive reality. Illusion and delusion are part of the human condition. In a world that is filled with deceit, manipulation, exploitation, not to mention spin doctors, it's easy to get cynical about the truth. It's easy to become confused about what we're really hearing, seeing, experiencing, or feeling. It's too easy to believe what we're told, even when in our heart of hearts we know it's not true. The Buddha saw and experienced life with perfect clarity of vision. Keep in mind that when the Buddha began his path, he was a human being like you and me. When the Buddha became enlightened, he still remained all his humanity, but he had transcended his human limitations and attachment to mere appearances. He realized freedom and deathless bliss, or nirvana. The Buddha became enlightened through his own efforts. If he were living today, indeed, if he were one of our neighbors, we might look at him and say, wow, that guy really keeps working on himself. The Buddha's hard work paid off, though. All of his efforts, he was able to realize absolute truth. ultimate reality. In Buddhism, the true nature of the world is called sunyata, or emptiness and openness. So I don't know about you, but as a yogi, I'd like some sunyata. And that's what we're going to work for as we explore and learn more about the philosophy of awakening our heart. I just want to thank you so much for joining us today. And please join our blog at jerseyyogalicious.wordpress.com. Namaste.